And so what they would do is, if that did happen, they would be ready to call the witch doctor immediately to come over to the house to take care of the situation. Okay, we are moving on to our final Ignite presentation of the evening. Simple LTC is proud to have sponsored this event. We had a super fun time with it. Our final presenter tonight is John Emblad. His title is Retiring Teen Idol. He is going to be presenting on what it's like to be married to a nurse.
And it does kind of depend on the nurse you're married to. So when I met my wife 40 years ago, she wasn't a nurse yet, but she was well on her way. She started folding sheets in the laundry of a hospital at 15, and it's all downhill from there. She started nursing school, and it became absolutely terrifying to talk to her because I was certain I got every disease she studied. From low blood pressure to COPD, but the absolute worst was when they studied angina. I was afraid to sit on the pod for 3 weeks because I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I didn't have a heart attack, and I didn't get dengue fever or the plague either, but it was a near thing. I also had to learn all this new vocabulary, which for a 5th grade teacher is pretty tough. You know, with the PRN and the UITs and UTIs and Q4 hours. And then there was this: Suppurative, Necrotic, Decubitus, Ulcers. Better known as dinner conversation at our house, where Diane would describe in great detail the looks, the smell, everything. And then there was the time that I woke up in the morning, and before I even had coffee, I found a pile of bloody clothes in the bathroom. I run in to check on her, and it's just that there was a little incident with a exploding bag of blood there in the surgical intensive care unit. She told great stories about the nursing home residents once she started working there, like the lady who would wear her underwear on her head. And the resident's only concern was the hair staying inside or was it sticking out the leg hole? Diane's concern was the underwear clean or not? You know, that's a nurse there. She also had a resident that liked to be announced. In 1982, there was a huge blizzard at Christmas time in Denver. And Diane was stuck at the nursing home for 3 days with 3 employees, and 100 residents. And they had to make it work, and apparently they did okay, except that burned hard-boiled eggs were not on the menu. So she also had a resident that died during this time, and nobody could come to get it because they couldn't get to the facility. So she put it on an unheated porch and called it good. When you live with a nurse, you deal with courage all the time. Like the time that Diane helped a woman who was being beaten up at a convenience store get away. You don't run into that with elementary teachers. Restraint reduction was one of her passions, and she always wanted there to be a different and better way to deal with residents instead of physical or chemical restraints. So if a resident was falling out of bed, Diane said, lower the bed and pad the floor. You don't have to tie them in. Culture change with choice of voice residents, that was constantly being discussed, and better than the Decubitus ulcers. So one morning I get up, and before I've had my coffee, she says, well, I think I'll quit my job and start a new organization. She's pretty smart, so I agreed, and I said that I would go ahead and drywall the room we were building at the time. Since she was the brains and I was the muscle, I did all the lick and stick to get the mailings out while she was writing content for the website in the front room. And it all worked, which is pretty astounding, but that's because she's a nurse. She developed this great organization that you've all been enjoying here at the conference, and it just continues to grow. And that's largely because of the leadership she shows and keeps it rolling. One time, one of the nurses, a member, got sick, far away from home, and had to go into the hospital. So Diane called members from that community and asked them to go to the hospital to sit with the nurse who was sick. And they did. That's ANAC. She's been an advocate for a long time of residents, patients, and even now, her parents, who just moved up to Denver from New Mexico. What's next? Oh, there's always something next with Diane. Now she's decided that we need a law that says there'll be 24 hours of nursing care in every nursing home. What a concept. And so, what's it like to be married to a nurse? Well, it's interesting. It's terrifying. It's disgusting at times. But mostly it's awe-inspiring, and that's my nurse right there, Diane Carter.
Thank you so much.